part of Europe we talked about where there's more bogs and it's more common to have bogs. Peat is harvested and dried, and it's also used as a fuel over there. And then one of the other interesting things about the peat is says it's so nutrient poor and it's lacking in oxygen, which is a vital component of decomposition. So we often find things in bogs that aren't fully decomposed, and that can often be remains or human remains. And bogs have actually been integral in anthropology and studying people because of what I talked about earlier before we started. People associated the bog with some sort of a mystical quality or so on, and they would bury their dead in there. So we find people and remains in bogs that helps us gain a better understanding of humankind and cultural things and so on. So there's just a lot of neat stuff behind bogs. You know, it's just not a wet place. There's just so much to learn and so much to enjoy. Any questions about the cranberry?
Oh, not about the cranberry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I bought what they called sedge peat or sweet peat. And are there any sedge bogs around Ohio?
Yeah, and well, sedges, sedges grow in bogs. Sedges also grow in fens. Peat is just a generalized term to describe partially decomposed material. So peat isn't just peat that comes from an acidic bog. It can be peat that comes from a fen. So anything that's partially decomposed can be peat. So yeah, there's different kinds. One of the other shrubs that's dominant here is the leather leaf, and that's the one we're looking at here. You know, if you're not you don't have to be a botanist, but if you're just a wildlife observer, you enjoy plants and so on, using your powers of observation, you'll be able to see differences and similarities between the shrubs that are here. Right next to it is a blueberry, which is higher. Obviously the leather leaf is a little bit lower. It doesn't grow as high. The flowers are very similar though. You'll see a white urn-shaped flower. If you look though at the leather leaf down here, it's basically at the terminus of each little twig. You'll see the flowers are growing in like a raceme or a long row of flowers. If you look at the blueberry, they grow in more of like a cluster or an umbel shape hanging down. So there's characteristics that are similar, but they're also different. So I always encourage people, if you're out in these areas, you take time and just study things and observe. Just sit down quietly and kind of take note of the differences, and you'll see all the different variety that's really out here. Again, this is one that's created for this specific environment with a thick cuticle, a thick leaf, and again that's so that it can retain water because it's in a harsh environment. Won't lose water through transpiration. Got a nice hardy, woody type of a stem and bark to it. They're just specifically